want to ask...
I'm not good, rather. It's the worst days of my life. How about that?
Okay, well, I'm sorry to hear that. I wanted to ask you, with news of the separation, how are you holding up?
Not holding up very well. I would say the other man, maybe I'll be an example for other men, cautionary tale. Don't neglect your wife.
Now, Judge Mathis is about to learn that it's way cheaper to keep his wife Linda than run to them streets. After 39 years of marriage with all its ups and downs, the kids and the grandkids, Linda filed for divorce and is now taking half of Judge Mathis's fortune along with her.
This family matters, and as you see on there, our influence is that, black families are great families, and no, they're not filled with, just...
And Judge Mathis was taken aback because this was the one thing he never saw coming. He thought that Linda would never leave him after he had a baby on her before they got married, and she continued to stick by him through everything. Now he's jumping through hoops and walking through fire to get her back. Child, Judge Greg Mathis even called the paparazzi on himself and staged this very scripted interview to beg for forgiveness and dismiss the rumors about him being a serial cheater. He claimed that all he's guilty of is neglect, but the streets are not buying it, and for good reason.
And I'm trying to get my wife back. I have to show her that, though. Hopefully I can show her while we're there together before, and hopefully she doesn't complete the process. But I'm changing in hopes that she will. I'm gonna get my wife back.
Now, Judge says that Linda walked out on him because he was neglecting her, but I want y'all to give that a thought. Linda and Greg literally came up together. She supported him through everything he did and still supports him in everything he's doing now to make himself a household name. And did y'all know that by the time he was 17, Judge Greg had already had a rap sheet full of crimes, and when he decided to turn his life around, Linda's parents were the ones that gave him a place for him to rest his head and supported his growth, even though they didn't think he was right for their daughter at first. Since they got married, Judge Mathis has been on the road hustling and trying to build his brand and career, and it has paid off, but that doesn't mean that the man had stopped working. Sources said that Judge Mathis is still working way too hard, upwards of 70 to 80 hours a week running his charities and production company. Now, based on that source from Judge Mathis's side, Linda has spent her whole life making Judge Mathis and his needs a priority while he's working 24/7 for the better part of 30 years. Now that they're older and them kids are out the house, he promised that he was going to slow down and that he would just enjoy the rest of their lives together, but he's not trying to stop anytime soon. Another insider said, quote, "Life is too short, and if Judge Mathis wants to run around the country working, he can do that. But Linda's not willing to sacrifice anymore," end quote. When you spend almost half your life with someone building a life that includes financial success, a life of kids and grandkids, walking out of the marriage just because of lack of attention from your spouse doesn't really make enough sense to me. Especially now that they've accomplished so much, already have everything built. Like, if negligence was really the main reason, she would have walked out several decades ago when you were a nobody, when you were giving it your all. So if you ask me, there's definitely more to this story. And child, you already know them rumors about Judge's alleged mistress that he's had for years now, and how Linda just got fed up and tired of it. Linda's been knowing how Judge Mathis works, and she stayed with him nearly 40 years. She's his rock and made it possible for him to work like that. She's part of the reason why he accomplished so much and became the youngest judge in Michigan at just the age of 34 years old. He even acknowledged such in an episode of their reality TV show.
Is certainly my highest professional achievement. But I gotta say, it was really my family that was the foundation of my success. After coming out of the streets in Detroit, Linda allowed me to work 15 hours a day, 5-6 days a week. So it's that support that allowed me to pursue the success that you see.
Our love and support runs deep.
In fact, up until the divorce announcement, Linda was a very supportive wife and showed just how in love they were on social media as she stood beside him in all of his business ventures. Linda still celebrated her husband on Father's Day and showed him a lot of love, saying, quote, "Had such a beautiful time celebrating Father's Day with my friends and family at the Johnson's residence yesterday. Very uplifting to see the fathers being celebrated, especially my husband Greg and our son-in-law Ryan," end quote. And Judge Greg is adamant that nothing egregious occurred in their marriage.
Port now, flying out, as I have for 40 or for 25 years. My wife has been third, serving the community, taping my show, having fun with friends. That's what happens, guys. Never be too busy or never have too much fun beyond your wife.
Well, at least he's being honest and not trying to blame his wife for how chaotic their relationship is getting. But people are smelling that something in the water ain't clean, and there's more to the story than he's willing to admit. Maybe that's because of how damaging it would be to his reputation. This is what he said when asked if there was any infidelity in their marriage.
There were also, kind of some rumors of any infidelity. Did you want to clear that up at all? You say it's solely neglect.
Well, neglect can create suspicion, certainly. And if you're gone as much as I am, you have every right to suspect. You go to work, you go serve in the community around the country, then you go with your guys to sporting events around the country, you go to other events except without your wife hanging with you and enjoying herself with you. And so, yeah, she would have a right to suspect infidelity.
But there was none of that going on.
That's not the purpose.
Did y'all catch that? That man spoke like a true lawyer and said a whole lot while saying absolutely nothing at all. Like he low-key admitted that Linda kind of suspects something because he's away for weeks. But again, Judge has been traveling for work for years. So why now would she expect something new after all his work patterns have been consistent over all of these years? I mean, you know what they say, where there's smoke, there's fire. And another thing, why was he going on a whole 3-week vacation without his wife? He knew he wasn't spending a lot of time with her in the first place and she needed his attention. So wouldn't that be the best time to take Linda along with you for a long vacation of enjoying each other together? They don't have any young children to worry about anymore as it pertains to childcare issues. So there's no way that eyebrows won't raise in suspicion. And this wasn't a fishing trip, so why do things smell so fishy around here, Judge? And funny enough, the same allegation about this so-called mistress began floating around years ago, and I mean almost 10 years ago, when Judge Mathis had a very public conversation on the radio with Wendy Williams. Even if you hate Wendy's guts, you gotta admit that for her to allege those claims, it means she likely had some credible sources who divulged some nasty, but likely very valid claims. And you know what else they say? A broken clock is still right twice a day.
True, according to you, about this woman that allegedly you slept with.
Wendy,
You allegedly got her pregnant. Listen to
pregnant.
Let me draw up the skeleton,
read that
Judge,
part.
and
I
then
didn't
you
read that
fill
part.
in the meat.
Wendy, I didn't read that part. Now you making that up.
Okay, let me
now
draw
you
up.
and WBLS about to be sued for defamation. You gonna make some stuff
Okay,
up here
Judge,
that
you
wasn't
are-
even alleged.
Okay.
Now that's called
All right.
defamation.
All right.
That's called defamation, Wendy.
Okay.
She did not allege that.
All right, well, look.
I'll tell you what she alleged, and it wasn't that.
All right, you tell me what she alleged,
She
Judge,
alleged
in
that-
all of your
she
anger.
alleged that I'm not angry.
Yes,
no.
you are. Yes, you are.
I'm not angry.
Okay.
She
Go ahead.
said that she had had an encounter with me where I was getting high.
Doing
and that-
cocaine.
doing
Brought to you
cocaine,
by
which you've been addicted
Classic
to most of your
Throwback
life and
TV.
Still addicted to based on your nasal passages and all these days you're missing at work and going
Okay.
in and out of the bathroom right while I'm here in the
Okay.
studio. As I told you, I've never used
New York
cocaine
City,
in
are you
my
following
life.
me?
Listen, I've never used cocaine in my life.
Okay, well,
never
okay,
in my
tell
life.
me what else she alleged,
So,
Judge.
She also alleged that I asked her to sleep with my wife.
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, and so, and if you want to believe that ridiculous nonsense, you feel free to. But and you want to keep fueling it when no one else has even asked me about
Well,
it.
nobody
because
else keeps it real like
everyone in
this.
the media knows that tabloids print trash. But every week that they pay people to come up with you or anyone in this studio
But
can
that
go
is-
to a
that is-
tabloid and tell them I want to sell you a story on someone, and they'll buy it.
Right.
And if that's the type of stuff that you fuel on your show,
And part
feel
of-
free to.
part-
but I don't know what else
Judge,
you want me to tell
Judge,
you.
I also
other than
got it-
I didn't do it.
I also
and
got
I
it
have
from
nothing to do with
I-
it. And I
listen.
don't know the woman. Never met her. Never used
Phew, that's a lot. But hold on, because there's more.
your stuff. You, on the other hand, have admitted to being addicted to cocaine.
Absolutely.
Secondly, you continue to show symptoms of your addiction.
Okay.
Lastly,
What
I
are those
heard that you
symptoms?
were-
Tell me.
These nasal passages you keep
Yes.
coughing up.
And I did
Secondly,
Afrin, and I did Afrin.
This eternal cold that you continue to have.
Yes, oh,
that you
yes.
can't have to come to work because every other
Okay.
week, and now you even stupid so low as to blame it on your baby, your newborn. How low can you get? That's about as low as you can get to blame your child for your cocaine
Judge.
addiction. Then, lastly,
Judge.
your bisexual activity. I'm sure your audience want to.
Let's keep it a buck, y'all. When someone is trying to hide something, they do too much. And Judge Mathis was doing too much. Way too much. He didn't have to say half the things that he said to Wendy to get his point across, but he did anyway, and bruh, that's kind of sus. There was even another time when a woman came out alleging that Judge Mathis didn't just sleep with her when he was high on that Coca-Cola, but also asked if she would sleep with his wife Linda too. Soon after, there was news flying around that he had allegedly gotten some woman pregnant and she was keeping their child. Judge Mathis quickly denied those allegations and claimed that he had never met that woman and didn't know her, so certainly wasn't expecting a child with her. He claimed that she was paid to spread malicious rumors about him to destroy his family. But here's something to think about. Judge Mathis's oldest child, Jade, is 39 years old, and Linda is not her biological mother. Judge Mathis admitted that right before they were set to be married, he had a fling and Jade was conceived. When he learned that the woman was pregnant, he told Linda and was fully expecting that she would call off the wedding, but she forgave him, and here we are today. Still, people are saying that he may have left the streets long ago, but the streets never left him, and he's consistently played in his wife's face, even when he was supposed to be working and building his brand and career during all of those long hours and various trips. Now, nothing has been confirmed, but Judge had a woman who has been his side piece for a couple decades, and Linda knew about her. You know how things go in Hollywood with them couples. Allegedly, Linda assumed that over time, that relationship with the mistress would just dwindle away. But that didn't happen, so she just said enough was enough and decided to call it quits after almost 40 years. And a lot of people are sharing very similar opinions. Someone said, quote, "If your wife is divorcing you after 39 years of marriage, you're not getting her back, Unc. She's over it. She's truly done. She ain't coming back home or letting you back in the crib. It's done," end quote. Another person said, quote, "The judge probably got that long-term side chick pregnant. Women don't leave a marriage after 39 years for irreconcilable differences. Child, she probably told him to respectfully cheat and not to embarrass her, and he did just that." Another quote, "Girl, ain't no black woman leaving her husband after 39 years, having 4 kids just because he's working too hard and not slowing down. This man is a whole judge and has always been outside the home. If anything, COVID-19 has shown us that being together 24/7 with your mate would probably destroy a relationship quicker than the weekend. Judge Mathis seems like a rude and hard to deal with type of man. He's a Detroit player that reminds me of an old school George Jefferson," end quote. But do you guys see this divorce happening at all? Share your thoughts in the comments and see you in the next video.